After the divisional round of an intense NFL playoffs, there is only one conclusion to be found, sir.
Yes, sir.
Demetri Ravanos joining me here on OG 322.
Wow.
Copiers Plus. Thank you very much. Go to copiers-plus.com. We cannot do what we do without them. They're the best.
Indeed.
If I can figure out how to use the printer, if I can figure out how to scan tax documents,
right,
anyone can.
We're a hard copy company.
Let them help your business. Please. Pretty please. Also, we're here at the Eford Studios thanks to our friends at Empire Properties, Empire Eats. Today's a perfect day to head over to the Morning Times. Get yourself a coffee. They always have like these pastry things that are super delicious. And scones, even though I don't really like calling them scones.
Sure.
They're more of like a biscuit.
Yeah.
I don't get the whole why they call it a scone. It's a biscuit.
Well, I think that this is as close to a scone as the Southern palate can handle, right?
It's very confusing to me.
No, I'm with you.
All I know is it's very delicious.
There is a reason that there is always a line close to or out the door at the Morning Times.
Always. Delicious coffee. So, no, there is only one conclusion from this NFL weekend, sir, and that is Dave Doran was right.
Tell me more.
Just as we on this program at OG Media invented taking phone calls,
right?
Just as we invented the post-game live reaction show,
yes,
Dave Doran has been telling everyone since 2012, he'll tell anyone that listens, if you win the turnover battle, you will win the football game.
It is why NC State football is on a rocket ride to the moon. This level of intuitive coaching. Yeah, I mean, look, the turnover battle obviously comes into play in every single game. I don't think that I expected things to be able to go that badly for Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's first of all, turnover margin, right? And you're going to listen to a lot of football talk.
Yeah.
You're going to listen to more important people than us, more famous, more hand in the dirty type people. Speaking of Dave Doran, they can tell you all they want about Lamar Jackson. They can tell you all they want about Ben Johnson. They can tell you all they want about Jaden Daniels and where they're going. And we'll hit all of those topics, I promise. But the truth of the matter is Lions -4, Rams -2, Ravens -3. Those football games were determined by that particular stat.
The Ravens turnovers, you had just I don't want to call that interception careless because it was a good throw, just overthrown his guy by a mile. And then, the Mark Andrews fumble, the guy punched it out.
That was a great play.
That was a great play. I was going to say the Lamar Jackson fumble. I don't get how that happens. I genuinely don't get how that happens because Lamar is an otherworldly talent. And it looked like, I don't know, did it look to you like he just got careless trying to put the ball away and didn't? I mean, that was to me the epitome of stupid turnover changes the course of the game.
Yeah. I listen, I thought that game went about the way we all thought it would.
Yeah.
You had Josh Allen not exactly lighting the world on fire, but making the plays that they needed to make at the end of that game to win the game. Right. You had Lamar Jackson kind of fighting through. No Zay Flowers. I do, the money's on the table with the Ravens. Sometimes I wonder, where is it going to go?
Right.
And I like everybody else. I'm sitting there, I'm going, watching the game with my wife, watching the game with my youngest son, Jackson. They go, okay, and Tony Romo even says, what are they going to call? And I said, they're going to roll Jackson out. Yeah. They're going to give him the chance, and it's going to go to Andrews. He's either going to leak to the other side of the end zone and you do the old roll out and throw it back and he's by himself. Or you do what they did. You set a pick. My dad was a high school football coach. If you didn't know this about me, every high school coach in a country has the same 2-point play. You line two guys up on the outside, you slam them in, you line the tight end or the fullback here, and you leak them over to the pylon, which is what they did.
Yeah, it's Brian Kelly's favorite 2-point play. Has been for years.
It was a great play.
Yeah,
he was wide open. The guy drops the ball.
I mean, it was.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
What are you supposed to do? So, but that game played out the way that I thought. Almost everybody thought that game would play out. Two really good teams. The weather was an issue.
Yeah.
And you had these two unbelievable quarterbacks. Who was going to make the last play, essentially, right? The game I don't think anyone saw coming was the Detroit-Washington game.
Absolutely not.
And now I'm curious, Mr. Alabama,
yeah,
Mr. the standard is the standard. We have to win the championship every year or fire everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with that.
If you're Detroit, how do you look at this season?
I mean, okay, so again, the standard is the standard. Like, you're Detroit. You get on your knees and you thank Jesus for getting as far as you
All right, so it's
can.
allowed. You're allowed to have some appreciation of a good season.
You're
then.
the Lions, right? Like, I think that I cannot really point to, outside of the ridiculous turnover margin, like, what is it that went wrong in this game? You could not hang on to the ball. You were playing a quarterback. You just were not prepared for all of the various plays he could make. I hate it for Detroit. Like, I thought they were the lone, undisputably likable team left in the playoffs. And boy, they just were not ready for this game.
45-31. Lions turn the ball over. The pick six in the second quarter of this game kind of set the tone.
Agreed. But
maybe what really set the tone was the Lions. They have 17 players on the injured list.
Right.
And 6 or 7 of them are on the defense and are starters.
You had David Montgomery coming back, and it looked like they were a little bit hesitant to really take advantage of Montgomery. I thought that they got a little bit... It felt like, you're right, it felt like the pick six set the tone, and they got a little bit desperate a little bit early.
Everything became a scramble after that for the Lions. I hate it for them. 15-2 on the year.
Yep.
And they don't even, number one seed, they don't even so much as win a playoff game.
Yeah, to lose like that at home in the year that the city of Detroit believes is a bummer, for sure.
And it really wasn't even in the fourth quarter. Oh, we got the ball, we have a chance. It was, you have to tip your hat to Cliff Kingsbury, who I think has done a really unbelievable job this season with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I think that because Jaden Daniels played under Brian Kelly, who is not the most creative offensive mind in the world. I think that because college football being what it is, the guy could make everybody look like a fool with his legs when he needed to. I don't know that people were really prepared for just how ready for the NFL this kid was. I also think you've got to...
I'm stopping you right there.
Okay.
He's 24.
Yeah,
he's a grown-ass man.
I hear you.
He started for 2 years at Arizona State?
Yeah.
Or 3 years at Arizona State and 2 years at LSU?
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Played a lot of fucking college football.
He did play.
Him and Bo Nix are like the two. I know you're just...
Agreed.
I know what you're saying. He's a rookie.
And Michael Penix too, right?
Yeah, they are all grown-ass adults.
Agreed. Actually, the college football bubble bath this week was about hey, let's tip our hat to Quinn Ewers for not being 26 and still playing college football. Yes. But he's got no NFL future. But yeah, exactly. He's got no NFL future, but I'm glad he's decided to live his life. I hear you, but there is still a huge difference between college football and the NFL in terms of speed and talent and all that kind of stuff. I also think we have to tip our hat to Dan Quinn. I know he looks like a doofus wearing that backwards cap on the sideline.
Oh, Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there's a difference between 25 and 55 wearing a backwards hat on the sideline. But dude, he's a really good coach. He knows how to rally the troops.
And you know what his real specialty is?
What's that?
To bring this back to Dave Doran. Dan Quinn's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
Okay. I said Cliff Kingsbury. He gets the hell out of the way.
Absolutely.
Hey, Cliff, here you go. Take it over.
Yeah.
Same thing with Kyle Shanahan. Much to his dismay in the Super Bowl that one year.
Right.
Hey, man, it's yours.
Yeah.
You're the one calling the plays. You manage the clock. You do all this. I'm going to focus on this. And obviously, there's bigger team picture there. Let's give him credit for some of that as well. But Jaden Daniels, I mean, there's part of me that goes, why couldn't the Washington, football team, the WFTers, why couldn't they, the WTFers, why couldn't they have played the Eagles in this previous round and gotten rid of them? I mean, I have a ticket on the Eagles and I can't fucking stand the Eagles.
It's funny.
No one wants to see the Eagles and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. No one.
No, I agree with you. Given the complete unlikability of the four teams involved, I guess I'm rooting for the Eagles because they have the most Bama guys, but I'm so fucking bored with the Eagles. I'm so bored with the Eagles.
Well, okay, that gets us to the Eagles because I'm watching this game and I'm remembering now that I had voted for Jalen Hurts for Heisman because that was one of the great fuck you seasons of all time.
Agreed.
Like, hey, Alabama, and I thought they left on whatever terms that there were, but it was pretty clear, like, hey, we don't want you.
No, yeah, they left on good terms, but his dad called the shot. His dad was like, my son's going to be the most sought after free agent in college football history.
You're right. So 19. So I always kind of have a little bit of a soft spot for Jalen Hurts, but it's always been, to me, he's a running back who plays quarterback.
Agreed.
And not like in a bad way.
Agreed. Like, I mean, he lost that starting job at Alabama for a reason.
Right. And I think Philly completely understands that.
Agreed. That's why you don't see Saquon Barkley under center for the tush push.
Right. But I think where Philly is successful, where Hurts is successful, is using play action.
Mm-hmm.
Once you put him in passing downs, like, it's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Like, flat out.
Yeah,
and I get whatever progress has been made, but ultimately you're talking about a team that essentially runs a single wing offense.
Yeah. I mean, they threw the ball 20 times in this game. Actually, Hurts had a really good day in terms of accuracy, but only threw for less than 130?
And he got bent backwards on a play that I thought, man, he toughed it out.
And to me, that's why, like, how do you even feel good about putting money on Philly in this game? Like, by the end of that game, he could not walk.
No, I know. And you sure as shit don't want Kenny Pickett being the person getting you to the Super Bowl. I promise you.
Yeah, I mean, that was not unexpected when they came in, or when he came back in and just started handing the ball off to Saquon every time. I think he did roll out and throw one short pass after that in the fourth quarter, but it is telling, to say the least, the play calling and what you can expect. Do we have a line from DraftKings already? Surely we do.
No, they're still the favorites, right? Because it's at home.
Yeah, Eagles -5.5.
Oh, that's a starchier number than I would have expected.
Well, I mean, Commanders money line +205. I'm going to go ahead and put money on that right now because I think they're going to win. Like, I just have trouble believing that there is enough in the Eagles bag to keep up with Jaden Daniels if Jalen Hurts is not 100%.
Well, those 3 games were decided by mistakes.
Yes.
Do you know who does not make mistakes?
That would be the referees calling games for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Close. Our friends at Two Roosters, they never make mistakes.
Very good.
I don't know if you know this, but February 1st is apparently National Ice Cream for Breakfast Day.
Oh.
So,
well, who am I to go against the Constitution?
Every month, Two Roosters has a rotating flavors.
Right.
And for February, they never really give you a sneak peek unless you're like me from the OG. Sure. You know what I mean? So for February,
Denver omelet.
Now, I would not put that past Jared, but are you ready for this?
I am.
All cereals.
Okay.
For February. Leprechaun's Delight, cereal base. Lucky Charms cereal, colorful marshmallows tossed in. Rice Krispie Treat, a brown butter base full of chunks of Rice Krispie Treats.
Oh, baby.
Cinnamon Coffee Toast Crunch. Coffee base with pieces of, obviously, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Frosted Fruity Crunch. Frosted Flakes. Corn Pops. Captain Crunch. Fruit Loops. Fruity Pebbles.
There you go.
Dude, they don't miss. 5 locations. Person Street is the home base, so they do not make mistakes.
I'm gonna have to put in my phone.
That's February. That's February. So go check them out. Two Roosters. Honestly, they really are the best. They do not make any mistakes. Now, you mentioned the referees. The other game that was not determined by a mistake.
Yes.
Because technically, the Texans really didn't make mistakes other than their kicker.
Yep.
Who I think is from Hawaii.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. People from Hawaii ain't ready for like the -8 wind chill. He was fucking garbage in this football game.
I mean, Henry To'oto'o, also from Hawaii, and outside of the phantom unnecessary roughness call that he got, he was up for this game.
Okay. Well, the Texans. Oh, I got to find the right thing here. See, this is what happens when Jovius is not here. That you're left to me trying to find my little tweets and here it is. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's share this screen. The Texans are the first team in NFL postseason history to outgain their opponent by 100 yards, have 0 turnovers, and lose. Prior to the Texans, teams were 49-0 in such games. 49-0.
That is an insane stat.
That really is. So, of course, after the Texans lose this football game. And man, people really don't like the Kansas City Chiefs. People are very, very tired of the Kansas City Chiefs. Even the Texans themselves were upset about the officials.
Yeah. I mean,
as someone who just watched the game.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't care about the Chiefs. You don't care about the Texans, right? So what did you think?
I thought that the penalty on Toa was egregious. I mean, I thought that one was like, what are we even doing here? I appreciated Aikman calling out the poor officiating. That being said, even without the calls, I didn't expect that to go any other way because I don't think the Texans know how to win in the playoffs yet. I think there is a certain amount of advantage you get to being the Chiefs playing a team like the Texans, regardless of whatever talent differential there may be. And obviously there's not a big one between these two teams.
I agree. So here's Will Anderson. By the way, you said Crimson Tide.
God love him.
You do a lot about the Panthers.
Yeah.
And watching this football game, this is exactly the draft pick the Panthers have not made.
Agreed.
Like, this guy is a true difference maker, a true eraser. He's also a little bit of a whiner here. Let's let him present his case.
I knew it was going to be us against the refs going into this game. And, I talked to you guys early this week. I was just saying, like, man, like, we got to go out there and we got to do us better. And, in some instances we didn't do that. In some instances we did. So we just got to keep going, man. Next offseason, get the guys together, man. And, everybody just coming together and just keep building that team chemistry and get past this hump.
Us against the refs, they knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 penalties called on the Texans. Obviously, there were a couple of plays.
But, 8 penalties.
That involved Mahomes.
Yes.
Specifically, which is where the real, the kind of arching of the backs and the hair, like, everyone gets fired up about this. And they're going to get fired up about this in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because the Bills game is probably going to be decided by 1 or 2 plays.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl is probably going to be decided by 1 or 2 plays. And my issue with the Chiefs is not the Mahomes calls.
Okay.
It's they never get called for holding.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, but here is the counterpoint to that. As much as I was hoping the Texans would win this game, yes, you can complain about the vast difference between what is and isn't called between these two teams. If you are the Texans and you are complaining it was going to be us against the refs and we knew it, you cannot give up 8 sacks.
Yeah.
You absolutely cannot give up 8 sacks, especially on that final drive when George Karlaftis looks like he's playing against ghosts. I mean, there's just nobody between him and CJ Stroud a couple of times on that last drive.
Also, hey, if you're going to play a bunch of zone, which they did, do you know who he's going to throw to? A lot.
Right.
Like
the guy he's been throwing to for the majority of the last decade.
The one touchdown where he's following, and it's a zone beater. You send the guy in motion to see what, to figure out what their coverage is. And now he knows pre-snap it's zone. Kelsey's going to find the spot. So, in his sleep, he's going to be able to find him. 7 catches for Kelsey in this game. 117 yards, a touchdown. He's been on ice the whole fucking season. And I said to anyone who would listen that this was what was going to happen. This is actually what Brady did with Gronk in the Tampa year.
Yeah.
But he waited till the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, they got all the way to the Super Bowl, and he was like, okay, now it's time to go to my security blanket. Okay, Gronk's here. Let me throw these 2 touchdowns to him.
It's funny you mentioned that Super Bowl because you talked about the play where Mahomes is falling down in this game. That was the completion of that play in the Super Bowl. Remember when he is like literally parallel with the ground and gets the ball away, and that's an incomplete pass. It is still the most memorable play of that Super Bowl. That, what you saw on Saturday night, is what it looks like when everything goes right in that instance.
Okay, so what was the most entertaining game of the weekend to you?
I mean, it would be between the 2 on Sunday. I'm going to say probably Buffalo and Baltimore.
Okay. Me, entertaining, I liked the Washington-Detroit game.
Okay.
Give me all of those points. Give me Ben Johnson running the loop-de-loop, I mean, when I forgot who had the game, was it Brady? It was.
Yeah.
Even he was like, I've never seen that before. The inside, the pitch back and then the shovel. Like, it was like, oh, Okay. The Lions are out here in their bag. And of course, it backfires a little bit when Jamison Williams on the double play, throws the pick.
Remember that Ben Johnson has a potential hiring manager watching this game up in the booth, high above the action.
Yeah. So, listen, I enjoyed the hell out of that game.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a track meet. It was inside.
Sure.
I want perfect conditions for these games. I'm from New Jersey. I get it. I grew up, again, going to high school football games and rooting for Penn State and watching Notre Dame and all these other things. And show me how tough you are, that you can play in frozen penis weather. I get it. But I don't want the NFL, their multi-billion-dollar industry, decided by the Eagles rubbing out a spot on the grass, on the turf, so that their terrible kicker can make a kick.
Hard to rub out a spot in frozen penis.
I want to see the highest level games determined by the creative coaches, by Jaden Daniels, by great players, not Mark Andrews slipped and couldn't catch. I get it. He should still catch the ball.
Yeah, I see. I'm the opposite from you in terms of growing up, because whereas you grew up, games in the elements in New Jersey, I grew up going to games in the Superdome, right? Like, no weather was the standard for a lot of the big Sugar Bowls that I went to, and obviously whatever Saints games my dad took me to when I was a kid. But I'm with you 100%. Also, you mentioned the billion-dollar industry of this. Wouldn't the NFL be better served, and all of these teams be better served, by having more venues that could host the biggest game of the year? Wouldn't these teams and these owners be better served by owning venues that could host a Final Four?
I had mostly a gambling-free NFL weekend.
Okay.
Mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I did have the total in the stupid Eagles game. Mostly. So my frustration level obviously varies by that very real factor. Yeah. Right. The most frustrated I got the whole weekend was when they did the out zoom, the wide angle shot of the Buffalo Stadium.
Yeah.
And you could see them building the new stadium.
Right.
With no roof.
Right.
No dome. Like,
I mean,
why do you do this to yourself?
So here is one that drives me even crazier. And obviously, like you said, I do a lot with the Panthers. Like, Charlotte would be ideal for a dome, or at the very least
Fours.
A roof.
Yes.
Because not only is it a growing city, like, all of the infrastructure that you need is walking distance from that stadium. This isn't Buffalo. This isn't this isn't even like Washington, where the stadium is miles away from the city. Like, that seems like a huge fumble in terms of future stadium plans.
Even Kansas City, I would argue, has made a mistake.
Yeah.
In winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Like, do you know how much easier it would have been if you didn't have to play in -3 degrees?
I mean, and see, that's the thing, too, that I think gets overblown. If what we saw yesterday was really football weather, we wouldn't be starting football season until Thanksgiving, right? Like, the majority of games are not played in those conditions. My wife, who usually is not watching games with me unless it is a huge Alabama game, could not believe that they were still playing the game in this condition. And I think that speaks to how much we have overblown what quote unquote football weather is, how much the elements should play a role in this.
Well, there's only one way I'll take a snow game, and that is if they bring back the flamethrower.
Oh, sure.
This is from the 69 NFC Championship game. The game was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Yes, sir.
I mean, they're blowing out the field.
Yeah, that definitely was used to kill Nazis a few years before.
I mean, 69. Like, you're like dusting off your old World War II machines. Like, what? What?
It really does look like they just brought some napalm over from Vietnam to.
I mean, that's the only way I'll take any of this is if you bring back the flamethrower.
Yeah, I don't find we score a touchdown and everybody throws snowballs in the stands charming.
Yeah. Listen, just build more domes, put more roofs up.
Right.
Even Miami, I think, has it right. Like, and again, it's not necessarily about the game quality of the game itself. I mean, maybe look out for the fans.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
I'm just, call me crazy.
Worst sunburn of my life was at a Dolphins game.
Call me crazy.
Housekeeping.
All right, housekeeping is brought to you by Inovana Green Cleaning. Go check them out. OVS is in Charlotte. I'm sure Inovana's on their way to take care of his house, though, because they're always at the Ovius estate. So Inovana Green Cleaning, check them out.
Great ad for Inovana, poor ad for the Oviuses.
Well, yeah. I mean, he trust me, they have a great staff because they can handle Ovius's all of his needs,
Sure,
which are a lot.
Yeah,
and take care of your
makes it to the
house
potty on time.
as well. So, a couple of housekeeping notes. On Thursday, we will be over at Breeze Through. Our friend Adam over at Breeze Through will be at Trinity and Edwards Mill over there. You know why? Because we're definitely not having a pregame show. There is a hockey game on Thursday, but this is definitely not a pregame show. We will be at the Breeze Through parking lot. Thursday, we will be live at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So adjust your YouTube schedules. The OG live on Thursday will be at 5 o'clock at the Breeze Through. We'll be outside in the parking lot, not the beer cave.
Okay.
We have the gigantic Ethernet cord. We'll be in the parking lot. There's a hockey game right after.
Right.
But we didn't start the fire.
It's a show before the game, but it is not a pregame show.
Correct.
Okay.
So come see us over there. There'll be a lot of dark roast coffee happening there. And of course, since it's the OG live, it is the Butcher's Market OG live. You'll be very happy to know. And all of the listeners will be very happy to know. I went to the Butcher's Market.
Okay.
On Friday.
Yes.
I did not get hot dogs.
Okay.
I got the signature steak tips.
Yes.
Made myself some nice steak sandwiches. Now, you could do that yourself.
Sure.
Or for lunch, go over to the Lake Boone Epicenter, the OG Epicenter, get yourself a steak sandwich. So that's Thursday. It's the Butcher's Market OG live at the Breeze Through. You see what I just did there?
Can I give you a little something on the Butcher's Market?
Yeah,
just
please.
a little tip for the people.
Yeah.
Folks, don't buy your short rib anywhere else in the triangle.
Okay.
The Butcher's Market will take care of you in terms of short rib. They will cut it up exactly how you want to. I have been known to make a short rib chili, Giglio. Oh yeah. It comes through strong. And the Butcher's Market, I don't know that I would trust myself with short rib from a just a gigantic grocery store. No, thank you. I want people that know meat and care about meat.
Okay, so Demetri, you're here today filling in for Joe Ovius.
I am.
You were here Friday filling in for me.
That's right.
You are the czar of OG fans.
That's true.
Okay. You are also the czar of our events.
That's right.
So we have an event coming up in 11 days.
I know.
Friday, January 31st. It's the Basketball Jones, Bomani Jones, with special guests, multiple special guests.
Marcus Ginyard, Tyler Hansborough, Lavelle Moten, Joe Ovius, Joe Giglio.
And Scott Wood.
Oh, that's happening.
Scott Wood will be there.
Very good. All right. So Scott Wood now there as well.
We got some things worked out over the weekend.
Very good.
Scott was in Garner. So we got that worked out. So you can still buy tickets at Hayes Permar has done this better than anyone.
Yes.
TheRialto.com.
Just click on the events page.
I don't want to know how he got that URL because there's a Rialto in every town in the country, but he got it.
Yeah.
TheRialto.com. Buy the tickets for the Basketball Jones. It's January 31st. Yeah, we're going to be there, but no, this is about Bomani and this is about your Tar Heel friends. Telling some stories, because there ain't nothing I like more than when people tell stories.
There is something happening, and I don't know that we have said this explicitly, what is happening, but I'm excited for this. The first episode of Bomani's show on HBO, you remember they did the Duke Haters Museum.
Yes.
Bomani and Rod Morrow, better known as Rodimus Prime or the black guy who tips, wrote that sketch together. We are going to show that sketch, and they, as well as Ovius and Giglio, are going to be on stage, sort of breaking down the history behind that bit. I'm really excited for that. So.
Perfect. And the next event that we have, the OG, which I'm going to start calling the OG Waste Management Garner Open. As opposed to the one in Phoenix.
Yes.
We're going to be February 5th. It's a Wednesday. We're going to be at Sully's Golf and Gather. That's in Garner, Timber Drive. If you haven't been there before.
Yeah.
It is a palace of golf monitors, hit the ball, food, drinks, you name it. But this isn't like a hole in the wall, like boutique.
Yeah.
Like this is it's actually a former CVS.
Oh.
It's gigantic.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to have 3 of the bays. In one of them, we'll have the famous 16th hole from TPC Scottsdale, which is the stadium par 3. where they throw the beers.
Yep.
We won't be throwing beers, but we'll be trying to win some money.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll have the 17th hole is drivable. So we'll do a long drive there.
Okay.
The third bay will be our normal golf shenanigans.
Okay.
And if you participated in the OG Golf Classic, you know we do a tee off with a putter and we do a tee off with Ovius's 13 wood, which is lefty.
Yeah.
So you have to hit it lefty.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have prizes for all three of those things. It's $15. If you know anything else about these golf places, that's a steal.
Yeah.
That is an absolute steal. So come on out Wednesday, February 5th, Sully's Golf and Gather in Garner. Join us for the OG Waste Management Garner Open. And as you can see, I will be repping Throwback.
Show people the dog. Let them know.
I will be repping.
There he is.
I will be repping because, yeah, it's harder on these grays to see. This is G-Town Golf. Look, there's nothing better. No one does golf gear better than Throwback. Nobody. And use our promo code, as my friend Corey Smith pointed out on the Twitters last week. He said, hey, well, you got a promo code for us? Well, yes, I do. OG20. Use OG20, save 20%. These hoodies are the best things going. Even you who are not really a hoodie.
Oh, no.
You're not really a golf gear type of person.
Yeah.
You're in that obvious category of like, yeah, whatever, Giglio. Do whatever you need with your polos. But
Giglio told me, so Giglio gave me one of the OG Triangle Media hoodies for Christmas and was like, nope, trust me, just put it on. And Giglio, I'll be goddamned if you weren't right.
Thank you.
I mean, I find excuses to wear it now.
Yeah, the absolute best words in the English language. Giglio, you were right. Second only to use that promo code OG20. Go to rowback.com. That's RHO back, rowback. You don't know me like that. Promo code OG20. And if you were so inclined, and I am now, I'm making better choices.
Sure.
It's a dry January for me. I feel better.
Good.
Other than some mucus.
Yeah.
Right? Even that, feeling better today. O2 Fitness, it's more than a gym. But the truth of the matter is, when you make good choices, you're going to feel better about yourself.
Oh, look at you.
There's not a lot of secrets here. But you do need a guide sometimes.
Yep.
That's where Renew Physiotherapy comes in. I've been going to Renew Physiotherapy for my neck. Krista, who's an Eagles fan, I'm going to have to see her this week. I'm going to have to listen to her talk about the Eagles. If I didn't have an Eagles ticket, it would be a real big problem.
Yeah.
But I've learned how to emotionally hedge. You can learn how to emotionally hedge your physical and mental well-being. Check them out, o2fitnessclubs.com. 9 locations all across the triangle. Biggest key to a gym.
Oh,
it's got to be convenient.
yeah, of course.
And O2 Fitness has convenience down pat for you. Congratulations. The Bills won, which means my guy, Josh Whitaker, is ecstatic. Josh is actually not a Bills fan.
Okay.
But his wife, Charlotte, is.
Sure. She's the one going through the table.
So he's happy today.
Yeah.
That the Bills advance. I watched that game last night and I thought to myself, man, how are the Bills ready to hurt themselves again?
Yeah.
Like and it's all about their fans at this point.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, do we really care about Josh Allen?
No, not at all.
I mean, kind of, sort of not.
No.
I think more people are probably rooting for DeMar Hamlin. The guy who actually died on the football field.
I will say I was taken aback in a pleasant way that Josh Allen all of a sudden developed a Southern accent in that game, in the post-game interview.
Hey, man. Who knows?
Yeah.
I know this, though. If you have any legal problems, hit up Josh Whitaker, Joe Hamer, Whitaker and Hamer. If they're smart enough to have wh.lawyer as their URL,
yes,
they're smart enough to help you with any kind of business issues, any kind of small business issues, any kind of closing on your home, any kind of family law issues. Hit them up, wh.lawyer. While most of the country was focused on the NFL,
sure,
and rightly so, there was some ACC basketball over the weekend.
I mean, to be fair, like Carolina and Stanford were wrapping up as that first game was getting started. The Chiefs and the Texans.
This is the point in the programming where Carolina and State fans would probably rather just me be like, yeah, NFL films.
It was
this
an
thing.
NFL,
like,
yeah.
There were games over the weekend. Moving on.
Right.
However, I find myself fighting on twin fronts this college basketball season, defending Hubert Davis and Carolina, and defending Kevin Keats and the Wolfpack. And then they do things like they did this weekend. So let's start with the Tar Heels.
Okay.
My point about the Tar Heels remains the same. I still believe they're an NCAA tournament team.
Okay.
I even got a message from a UNC fan. Hey, man, maybe it's time to start panicking. Like, I know what you're saying, but maybe it is. And then there's one, my guy Kyle, like Jalen Blake's shot went in at the buzzer, or right before the buzzer. Kyle like barely waited to go to Twitter and say, see, I told you. I told you. Stanford is 78 in the net.
Yeah.
Okay, let's calm down with losing to Stanford being the end of the universe. Stanford has no NIL, yet has the fourth best roster in the ACC somehow.
Yeah.
Part of that is Maxime Reynaud is a international player from France. I'm sorry, Cooper Flack. He might actually be the best player in the ACC.
Ooh.
He might. He
okay.
might. So they have a lottery pick, which makes no sense.
You're right.
Other than he's an international player. And that's probably the way to get one of those. Right. They have a Duke transfer who was a 4-star guy coming out of high school, who has now this season made game winners against Santa Clara, who's coached by a former NC State guy, Sunday, and a game winner against the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill. He even dropped a Duke blood, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm all about the Wolf blood and the Ram blood. So hat tip to Jalen Blakes for saying that. But as our guy Paul, resident Tar Heel fan, pointed out to me, Duke for life. I said, yeah, but he didn't write it on his shoes.
Right.
Until you go the full Caleb Love and write on your shoes that you are something for life.
Yeah.
While playing for another
team. Right.
You see the problem there.
I do.
You and I see the problem there.
Yes.
But apparently Tar Heel fans, perfectly okay.
I will say one thing that I do think Tar Heel fans can pull their hair out over a little bit. Because this is a 1-point game. There were 14 lead changes in this game. I know this is not the only difference, but Stanford missed a free throw. Carolina missed 5 in this game. I mean, I know, like I said, that is not the end all be all, but ever since that championship game between Memphis and Kansas, like I just notice when just doing the little things and getting the free shots would have avoided quote unquote disaster for you.
This is one of those times where you realize, yes, Ian Jackson is the best player on UNC, but he's also still a freshman.
Right.
He obviously struggled in this game. 6 points, 0 for 5 from 3. Look, Carolina is at a point. Yes, I still believe they're an NCAA tournament team. We could talk a little bit more about that, but they're at a point like most normal bubble teams that they have no margin of error.
Yeah.
So if Ian Jackson's not going to play great, then someone else needs to. I thought Van Allen Lubin was very good in this game, and I know a lot of fans are ready to give up on him. I thought Jalen Washington and Van Allen Lubin together, 21 points, and stupid Ken Palm breaks up the rebounds the wrong way. But I thought they held themselves fully fine against Reynaud, who is a lottery pick. They're big, Stanford big. Reynaud with 25 points, Blake's with 20, Blake's with the late shot, a runner of a full-length inbounds play by Kyle Smith, who's the one of the best to do it. But he made a contested shot over Carolina's best defender, Seth Trimble.
Yeah.
At that point, you take your hat off, you tip it to them, and you move it on. If you're Carolina this season now, you are right to be worried about Dayton. Dayton 74 in the net. You're fairly close to losing that as a Q1 game, even though it was a neutral site. UCLA has so many problems, but they rebounded over the weekend. They finally won a game since Mick Cronin absolutely motherfucked his own roster in January, which is never a good idea publicly. UCLA did win over the weekend. They're 34, so that win is probably safe in terms of being Q1, but they kind of sort of need UCLA to make the NCAA tournament. They need them both to happen. They need both Dayton and UCLA to make the tournament. I still kind of believe in Dayton can do that because of their wins that they had picked up out of their league. I still think they can get in as an at-large, and that ultimately, what you do against the field matters. So for Carolina, I'm looking now, and yet you're sitting here going, okay, yeah, they lost to Stanford. The season's over. No, this game against Wake on Tuesday, huge for them, because I think it's huge for Wake as well. They've got Wake, they've got Pitt twice, they've got Duke twice, they've got Clemson. And then it gets a little dicey. Okay. Now, the magic bullet there is to beat Duke, you're in.
Yeah.
Or you got to beat the other ones. You got to beat Wake, you got to beat Pitt, you got to beat Clemson, because you lost the Louisville game. So the path for them is pretty clear to me. You either beat Duke, magic bullet, or you win all three of those other. You play Pitt twice, so you just need one.
Mm-hmm.
You would need Pitt, Clemp, Wake. They only play Wake twice.
Yeah.
Well, they only play Wake once this year too. That's a huge game on Tuesday down in Winston-Salem. So I don't think it's time for the Tar Heels to panic. I get it. You're not used to this bubble life. I get it. You're not playing for the national championship. I saw something on the socials, and it really was. I think the handle was Tar Heel for life. I think it was. Actually,
I like when they telegraph.
I think it actually was.
Yeah.
And it was highlights from the 2005 Final Eight game against Wisconsin, which should have been state. Thanks, Herb. And it was we used to be good at basketball. Was the headline for the, and it was like showing these highlights of Sean May dunking and doing all that. And I was just kind of like, okay, I get it. That was my reaction to the Tar Heels. We did get calls on the OG Sports phone though. So let's go to the first one, OG Sports phone. This is 540. Let's see.
Hey, this is Jeff, big UNC fan. Also love the podcast, but I've got to say this. Caleb Love knew what was coming. There's a reason he left, even after those successful years, which I know he left after we missed the tournament, okay, but he had to have known what was coming. I would have traded those Coach K wins from Hubie to make the tournament if I knew this was coming. We are trash, and we will not make the tournament. Thanks.
Okay. I think there was probably a parting there of mutual ways. You're giving Caleb Love a little bit too much credit here.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, no, you would not trade those K wins to make the tournament.
Right.
Come on.
Right. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Foolishness. Let's see. Next one.
Hey guys, it's Paul. Look, UNC basketball, they are who we thought they were. Stanford has a 7-1 dude who's extremely talented, and he had a whale of a game. And Carolina had no answers. And as I said on the OG After Dark, they're going to play a bunch of one-possession games. And you know what? Stanford's big man was the difference. I know Blake's the Duke transfer. A Duke transfer hitting the game-winning shot in Chapel Hill. That sucks. But the difference in that game was Renault, the Frenchman. God, I can't believe we lost to a fucking Frenchie. Anyway, they are who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook. Sorry, I played 2 OG Sports phone calls and I forgot the jingle.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
I'm impressed by the number of people that tell us on social media that phone number is like the only one that they have memorized.
Yes. I don't know my wife's number, but right. I know. I don't know my kids' phone numbers.
I have no idea what my kids' phone. We were talking to the kids about this today.
All right, let's see.
Yes, over the weekend.
Let's see what Jeannie's got for us.
Not so good morning, boys. Well, we both sucked it up yesterday, State and Carolina. I think that Kevin and Hubert just need to ride into the sunset together. Both really nice men, but they're not getting the job done. And I don't know, fellow Carolina fans, if you're able to still do dry January, you're better than me, because my January got undry a couple of weeks ago. Take care, you guys. And Giglio, I hope you're feeling better. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jeannie. You're the best. I have remained on dry January. Now, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I only watched the final 5 minutes of the State game.
Okay.
I watched the final probably 10 minutes of the Carolina game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because so Kyle Smith, the coach at Stanford, was at Columbia and I won a lot of money his last year at Columbia because they were a cover machine.
Yeah.
I even said this to him when I met him down in Charlotte. And he kind of looked at me like in the old days, that would have been like total taboo. Like the guy would have walked away. But he was like, you know what? I appreciate that. And I was like, yeah, man, I just want to let you know.
Yeah.
I was just letting you know. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
This isn't about Frankie Francisco, or Frankie Ferrari is his name, the guy at San Francisco.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, a lot of people liked him too. I go, nope, not about that. This is about Columbia. You were a machine. So I like Kyle Smith. Okay. A lot of respect for what they do. So I wasn't watching this game going, oh my God, Stanford it was the worst. Blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. But I did want to see what they did with Reno, and I wanted to see how Washington would do with him and what Carolina would do with him. So watch the last 10 minutes of that. State, though, listen, this is for your own mental health. Like I had our guy, Bennett, from Heister Automotive Group.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to buy a car, you need to sell a car.
Yeah.
HeisterAuto.com.
Let me just write that down.
Yeah,
I
please.
think I may be in the market
The
here.
Heister Auto Group, I'll give you Bennett's number.
Okay.
And everyone has Bennett's number. But here's the truth. If you have this is the most adult thing I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
We reached out to Heister Auto. We gave them a budget and said, here's what we got.
Oh, very good.
And Bennett goes, okay, here's like 4 or 5 choices.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking like, a used car for my oldest son.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So hassle-free, no nonsense. Check them out. HeisterAuto.com. Most adult thing I've ever done. So Bennett sends me and Ovi a text on Saturday. Hey, I've got extra tickets for this Cal game. And I said, listen, man, I'm going to watch football on Saturday. I'm going to watch the NFL.
Yeah.
All right. Normally I'd go. It's got great seats for us. Normally I would go. But I was like, just as Paul said, they are who we thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
This is who NC State is.
Yeah.
They're going to play a close game. There's going to be stretches, as I wrote on OG Fans. There's going to be stretches where you look at it and you go, oh, it looks pretty good. I think I can see it.
Yeah.
I can't. It's a schooner, right? So I'm looking at it and I'm watching this game last 5 minutes and I'm like, ooh, I know how this is going to end. I will note this, though. There were 2 plays run after timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
I was told Kevin Keats doesn't know how to draw up a play. Well, they ran a play. Do you want him to make the shot for the player? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
They draw up a play. Huntley Hatfield misses a hook shot. Yes, Steve, I hear you buzzing in my ear. Why'd you draw up the play for Hunter Hatfield? Huntley Hatfield. Okay, cool. It was a good play. The guy missed the shot. Then when they're down 3, they draw up a play not only for a 3-pointer, but to their only good 3-point shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a clean look. And he missed. Again, not really sure what you people want him to do. So that's how I took in the NC State game. For my own mental health. I watched the final 5 minutes. They are who we thought they were. They're not going to make the NCAA tournament this year. Like, why are you beating yourself up?
Yeah.
By torturing yourself, by gripping it so tightly and listening to the phone calls from the OG mailbag. Like, how have you already completely forgotten March? I don't get that mentality.
Yeah.
I really don't.
So I said to Ovius on the mailbag that he sounded like a loser for making the same argument. And I will say that, like, I don't think you dismiss what you did in March at all. But if that is the justification for another 2-3 years when this clearly isn't working, that's to me when it sounds like, we're placated. We don't care what happens. We got the one. It was so long before the one.
It was 37 years.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand.
Never mind the Final Four. It was 40.
I
41.
understand the frustration of State fans in a game like this where it was never out of reach, but you can never take the lead. Like, that's got to be incredibly demoralizing, not just for fans, but for the team too. I
understand what this season has been about. And one of the calls was, when will you guys ever call Keats out for the problems of this season? Here you go. You ready? The roster isn't good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, things I wrote for OG fans.
I was about to say, I mean, your thing about college basketball now being a year-to-year proposition.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone has ever written anything more true about this.
And the problem with their roster, you have Michael O'Connell.
Yeah.
Who you're asking to do too much. He's not capable of doing what you're asking him to do this year. He's just not.
Yeah.
You're missing the guy who you thought was going to be your leading scorer. Fine. Well, okay. Well, you could say, fine, adjust, do this, do that. But the truth of the matter is, without Mike James, you're missing the bus driver.
Right.
And Marcus Hill is a good player. He's become the bus driver by default.
Mm-hmm.
But he should be like your third option.
Yeah.
Not your first.
Yeah.
Dontrez Styles is on some sort of vacation. I don't really know what he's doing. Huntley Hatfield is also on that same vacation.
Yeah.
I don't really know what he's doing even when he's healthy. And then the one thing I would really love for Kevin to do, I need to see some of these more. I need to see Ian McNeil a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see Trey Parker a little bit more. I need to see some of these younger guys because you're now at a point where I know he said after the game, I'm not giving up. You know, I get that. But you're at a point in the season where you have to see what you have.
Yep.
Because you need to determine what you need going into next year.
Yeah.
And that's what my mindset is when I look at NC State and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I got news for you. They're going to play Duke in a week. And we're going to get into Duke here in a minute. They're going to play Duke in 1 week. And
UGLY.
It's going to be Coach K. Like Coach K might even come and coach the fucking game. Because it's going to be, if it's less than 30,
yeah,
I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
It'll be money and everything else on the table in your ear. That's what Monday is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so everything else this season should be about, well, what do we have on the roster that's useful? What can we do going into the portal next year? How do we make this better? Where did we miss?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're gonna the price of bigs is the number one.
Right.
The price of a playmaker is number two. So you got to figure out, A, do you have the resources to invest in a big and to invest in a playmaker?
Yeah.
Those are the two things.
We talked about this on the women's basketball podcast, which comes out every Wednesday, by the way. You're on the OG Triangle Media Network. That the women's side for the Wolfpack are having the same problem. The identity of last year's team that got to the Final Four, and really Westmore's whole thing, has been dominating the boards, and now they are trying to learn to win with an outside game. And I think
they have some really good guards, though.
They do. And I think that is the difference, right? Like they have the talent to, even as they are learning, still experience success on the women's side that they may not right now on the men's side.
All right, let's take this one state call.
So, live reporting from Lenovo Center. And I was wrong. We did not lose by 2. We lost by 3. But, yeah, Jack only called 1 timeout where he failed to set up a successful play. We called 2 in the last 45 seconds to not have 1 single successful play. So, the Keats timeout is officially 0-3. Excuse me, 3-0. And keeps the streak alive. Go Pack, right?
I mean, again, both looks were good looks. So you're just not, you're seeing what you want to see.
Yeah.
I can't change your mind on that. So I can change your mind on this. If you need help for your business, you need a bigger space, call my friends at the Donnelly team, KW Commercial. It's trianglencommercial.com. 919-616-8681. Julie and Brian Donnelly, the Donnelly team. They can do for you what they did for my friend Punkage.
Oh.
He has a law firm.
Uh-huh.
He had a space.
Uh-huh.
The law firm grew.
Oh, good.
He needed a bigger space.
Yes.
I'm going to need a bigger boat. Pick up the phone. Give him a call. 919-616-8681. Every time we talk about ACC basketball, it is brought to you by the Donnelly team, KW Commercial, trianglencommercial.com. I don't know about you, Demetri.
Yes, sir.
I know Joe Ovius likes to dismiss my tax anxieties and my money anxieties.
Yeah.
You know, when I listen back to this podcast, I hear him very dismissive.
Sure.
You know, are you that way? Are you someone who actually likes to save money?
Yeah. I mean, I prefer not giving my money away.
Right.
I would say no shade to our dear friend Joe Ovius, who I believe both of us think is one of our closest friends. Correct?
Yes.
That being said, when you are not the one on the financial side of the business,
it's a little different. But I got a great way to save you money.
Go on.
Life insurance,
Uh-huh.
home insurance,
Uh-huh.
car insurance,
Uh-huh.
Hey, all these insurance needs. InsureGarner.com.
Oh,
Matt
okay. I thought
Davis.
you were going to suggest fraud.
No, all above board. That's the best way. This is the best possible way to save money, is to give Matt Davis a call. Hey, Joe, what if I want to talk to somebody? Perfect. Pick up the phone, give Matt a call, see what you can save. 919-779-8277. And I know I could just turn this read over to you because I already know who makes the best hoodies in the game.
Look
I
at
know.
this. Not even just hoodies. Look at the crew necks. This is honestly, I told you this when you came in, or when I came in, and you said, I love that you're wearing your Bama stuff. This is one of 8 options that I have in terms of Bama outerwear. The majority of those come from the fine folks at Home Field Apparel. Very comfortable. And listen, don't sleep. I'm also wearing Home Field joggers.
Are you? You got
today.
the pants?
I've got the pants. I don't have a t-shirt on underneath, but I do have plenty of t-shirts.
Okay.
I'm a guy, Joe. I certainly I love Alabama. I love Hawaii football. I love my other alma mater, FIU, who, by the way, get your shit together and get on Home Field, FIU. But I love a good vintage logo. And as long as I don't hate the team, I will buy, I will invest. I recently took advantage of the new UT Chattanooga Mocs collection.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got a Mocs t-shirt for Christmas. I got a New Mexico State Aggies, Vamos Aggies hoodie for Christmas.
That is amazing.
Yeah, they dig into the Home Field catalog.
Yep.
You were going to find some winners that you did not know you needed in your life.
Home Field Apparel, they have a great app as well. They have great ways to save. Here's the easiest way to save. Use our promo code OG24. You'll save 15% on your first purchase. So go check them out. Demetri is a walking billboard today for our friends at Home Field. Speaking of billboards, every time Joe Ovius sees the hometown realty billboard, he knows there's a beacon, there's a North Star, there's a path for you. Listen, you want to maximize your investment, your number one investment?
Yep.
Don't take some nonsense guaranteed offer. Don't think, oh, I've got my Netflix real estate degree, I'm going to save this or that. No. Go with Hometown Realty. You can buy with confidence.
Yep. Sell
with confidence. It's myhtr.com. We have a segment called the Lightning Round.
Sure.
Which is anything but fast.
Sure.
I put all of this blame on Joe Ovius.
Yeah.
So
it's like a really weak electric chair.
Let's see how quickly, without Joe Ovius, we can do the Lightning Round, which is brought to you by Sam Jones Barbecue downtown. Go to Sam Jones. Here's the deal for lunch. First of all, they have a great space. If you have a party, you're looking for an event space upstairs, wonderful. Looking for lunch, sit down, do the whole thing, wonderful. I've had a Eastern North Carolina barbecue awakening.
Oh, okay.
And education.
Okay.
By going to Sam Jones. But as you know, I'm always going to find one thing that I fall in love with. It's the beans. So get the beans. They're amazing. I like to play a game in college basketball or college football, or really pick a sport when you're placing futures bets.
Yeah.
Who's the monster?
Okay.
So in college basketball, the SEC has dominated so far this college basketball season. So it kind of feels like one of the monsters has to be from the SEC, right?
Oh, God. Don't tell me you're going to say Auburn.
Except, are you a believer in the Ken Pom theory? They have to be in the top 25 of the adjusted offense and defense.
Like in order to be like a legit title contender?
The profile of the national champion, other than like one UConn team, has been, it's a top 25 offense and defense. Right now, the monster has number 3 adjusted offense, number 2 adjusted defense. Right now, technically, the monster is...
It's Alabama, right?
Duke.
Really?
Duke takes care of Boston College 88-63 on Saturday. It was like a homecoming game for our 18-year-old grown ass Cooper Flag.
Homecoming game's been gone for so long.
Duke gets a week off here.
Yep.
I predict Duke's loss is coming on Saturday to Wake Forest.
Okay.
I think that would actually be good for Duke, but I can't call Duke the monster knowing what happened against Kentucky and Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
And those were neutral site games. My default with Duke, whether it's Mike Krzyzewski or John Shire, is they're going to be so much better at home than everybody else.
Of course.
And it's even really, they shoot so much better at home.
Mm-hmm.
This year, it's actually been they defend really well, particularly in the second half against teams at home. But I'm looking around at all these different profiles and I'm going, oh no. Oh no. The monster just might be Duke. My second choice for monster, not profile wise,
yeah,
but rather if you're about that life, be about that life. And you know who had one of those kind of weekends.
Oh, yeah.
Nate Oates. Hey, man. You can't tell Kentucky to pound salt after they offer you probably, let's be conservative here. I mean, they had to have offered him $14, $15 million.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
To leave Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Now, Kentucky's a certain kind of crazy.
Of course.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of Carolina fans out there who are like, you don't understand Carolina basketball. Oh, but I understand the certain kind of crazy that Kentucky is.
Right.
Okay. Carolina, once you start threatening officials and needing restraining orders, then I'll understand your particular passion.
Yeah.
Okay. Kentucky basketball, Ohio State football, different kind of crazy.
Agreed.
Okay. Different. Alabama's football is too fat and happy to have that kind of crazy.
Oh, no, I disagree.
But we're going to be there.
I disagree.
We're going to be, no, but Saban
placated it, but
spoil the fuck out of you
but
people.
look how quickly it got. We're already worried about our coach wearing a t-shirt on the sideline.
I love it. Love that. Yes. But you can't be about that life and tell Kentucky to pound salt and go into Rupp Arena
of course not.
And lose.
Especially coming off of just getting dominated by Ole Miss.
Yeah. Chris Beard. I thought we were here to talk about Texas basketball. So I put money on Nate Oates in Alabama on the road as a dog on Saturday for that very specific reason. UConn fans, I'm always on your side, but you really don't have the best coach in college basketball.
No.
Alabama does.
Yeah.
And I believe in order for the destiny to be fulfilled, I think Nate Oates needs to win the national championship this year.
Ooh.
I have already put my money where my mouth is. I have multiple Alabama tickets to win the national championship. Defensively, they do not meet the profile of a national champion.
Right.
As we speak. But I think they're their roster and their offense comes from multiple places.
Yeah.
And I think that's what ultimately serves you well. What they do, they can score with anybody. It's just a matter of, can you just play enough?
Right.
Defense, 102-97. They get enough defense. A little bit of a horses for courses game against Kentucky. They want to play like Alabama wants to play.
Yeah.
But, so I present to you, and I've advanced this theory before. I think Alabama wins the national championship this year. I think next year they have a normal year, and I think he goes to Carolina. I think he's the one who replaces Hubert Davis.
First of all, I'm very excited about your
you are
enthusiasm and your confidence in Alabama. Now,
okay.
Can you tell me who is on the team? Because I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I actually
it was very similar to the group that went to the Final Four last year. Now they lost some parts from that team.
They lost some parts. They did a really good job in the portal, though.
Yes.
A. And B, like they seem to be very comfortable with, despite the fact that he is not the NBA prospect on this team, they seem to be very comfortable with Mark Sears being the bus driver.
He's RJ Davis.
Yeah, 100%.
From last year.
Yeah.
Because now he's really expanded to like, okay.
So I have told you and Ovius off the air parts of this before, but so I took my son down to Tuscaloosa for the Missouri football game this year, and it was homecoming. And because we are members of the NIL collective, we got an invite to, like a town hall kind of thing. And it's always before the Friday before football game. It is always Kalen DeBoer and another coach. And we did not know it was going to be Nate Oates for this. Now, remember, Giglio, this is Kalen DeBoer coming off of 2 losses in 3 weeks.
Right.
Okay. So first of all, they brought out Sean Alexander to introduce Kalen DeBoer because who's going to boo Sean Alexander? But Nate Oates walked into that room like everybody was there to see him, not Kalen DeBoer. And I would be lying if I didn't say the room was kind of split. Like I walked in, I was like, oh, the basketball coach, who gives a shit? But
in true Alabama fashion.
yeah, absolutely. But there was a class of Alabama boosters that have never left Alabama. That is very important. That are a little bit younger. That like Nate Oates was the superstar. So you're right. Bama's never going to be a basketball school. It is never like being the basketball coach at Alabama. No matter what you accomplish, you are always going to be able to fly under the radar a little bit. I don't know that Nate Oates doesn't like that. Or like that challenge, I should say. Now, all that being said, yeah, I could totally see him leaving for a bigger, better job. But honestly, I would have thought Kentucky would have been the one.
I'm with you in the sense that I feel like he might have had a little bit of unfinished business.
Sure.
That's why I think it's key that he gets the title.
Yeah.
Because it almost has to be the reaction as well.
Right.
Like almost, because I remember I was at the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
There were a shit ton of Purdue fans.
Right.
A bunch of State fans. UConn was kind of waiting till Monday because they knew.
Of course.
There was Mark Gottfried and like 5 former Alabama players.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I mean, look,
that's all I saw.
We
from
had
Alabama.
just paid a lot of money to go to the Rose Bowl.
I was just kind of like, oh, I'm not blaming Alabama fans.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why would you care? I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't not care, but like, I might watch the last 5 minutes of a game. I mean, and I was there during the peak of Godfrey. Like, basketball was a big deal when I was in school there. I don't know. I always tell people, my buddy T-Bob Hebert, who played at LSU, played football at LSU, makes fun of me for only being an Alabama football fan. And my response is always like, yeah, why would I follow anything else? I've got my degree. I gave them my money. I don't owe them any more of my time.
That was so quick. Among the other comments I saw on our YouTubes was, man, some of our audience members are not happy with your Hurricanes takes.
Oh, man,
it was like, man, you don't know dick about Kane. it was almost like, man, I like you, Demetri, and you're very interesting, but
yeah, I got one.
You don't know jack shit about the Hurricanes.
I got one that told me, get out of SEC braid and pay attention to the Hurricanes. And I just responded, no,
sir. No, sir. We're back in the mode of like, okay, the Canes lose. They lost to 2 awful teams in Anaheim and Buffalo.
But beat a great team.
And then they come home and they beat Vegas. So we're back in happy mode with the Canes. They go to a bad team tonight.
Yep.
At Chicago, 8:30. This feels like we're going to get the Tokarski replacement level goaltender tonight. And then we'll see Kachikov, hopefully, on Tuesday, not Kachekov. Our rule is when he's feeling it, he's Kachikov, the Don Waddell pronunciation. And when he's not very good, he's Kachekov.
Right.
Yeah. So back to back for the Canes. And then Thursday, remember, we're over at Breeze 2 for definitely not a pregame. But no, Canes pick up a nice win over Vegas on Friday.
And a great game for Seth Jarvis, too.
Yes.
Which like always feels good that clearly the future face of the franchise.
Yes.
Has those moments, whenever he has those moments.
Show favorite Seth Jarvis. So yeah, Canes back in action tonight, playing Chicago. I get worried when they play crappy teams.
Yep.
I get worried after they win a game because they really are on kind of this up and down roller coaster.
If you are not a subscriber to OG fans, Tom Edwards writes really, really great stuff about the Hurricanes his comes out every Wednesday. So go to ogtrianglemedia.com to sign up for that. But he hit the nail on the head with some of the anxiety that Canes fans feel like literally from game to game, as you are talking about, is that fast start might have disguised or distracted from what we were saying all off season. This is a team that at the high end is going to make the playoffs and probably not make a ton of noise. It's going to be a lot of up and down. But that fast start got everybody believing. And now, we're 45, 46 games in this season, a little over halfway. And people are already on the edge of their seat for every game.
People are gripping it tight. Yeah. I'll tell you where you don't have to grip it tight.
Oh.
You download Happy Inhale app.
Sure.
Okay. This is what we call a segment within a segment because we talked about the Canes. Happy plus Hail on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Then you order.
Yes. Go on.
And then you get a free smoothie for signing up for the app.
Nice.
And then if it's within a month of your birthday, even if it's already passed, even if your birthday was January 19th, they'll still give you a free bowl.
Look at that.
For signing up for the app.
Wow.
So Download the app, Happy Plus Hail. Go over there. Unbelievable food.
Agreed.
Look at me. I mean, I give good food advice. I normally don't give good, healthy food advice, but very filling, delicious stuff. They also have smoothies. So do yourself a favor and get that Happy Plus Hail app coming up in February.
Okay.
We're going to be over at the Happy and Hail.
Perfect.
And we're going to have a new OG promo code for you to use. So
perfect timing.
I'm priming.
Promo codes are for lovers.
I am priming the pump for all, but check them out. It's Happy and Hail. North Hills is my preferred location, but they also are over off of Six Forks as well. But we're still in the lightning round, which means I get to pick another good lightning round song. Which one is it going to be? Have you ever shushed an 8-year-old?
No, I'm actually very protective of children I don't know when someone is shushing.
I hate shushing in general.
Sure.
As a parent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even like shushing babies.
Yeah.
Like, people who shush babies, I'm kind of like, people who shush dogs, I'm like.
I've gotten into arguments with people on planes on behalf of other people's babies.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
I'm not a big shusher.
Yeah.
But I understand it's a thing that people do.
Sure.
I'm just going to read this from Jaguar Gator 9. You ready?
It's the most Jacksonville name I've ever heard.
You ready?
Yes.
One of the funniest things of the college basketball season just happened. AJ Lopez hit a 3 to put Maine up by 13. He then proceeds to shush the crowd, which is made up of 8-year-olds because it's education day and all of the elementary schools are at this game. This is amazing.
It's pretty great.
So AJ Lopez, it was a Maine at NJIT.
Sure.
New Jersey Institute of Technology. So yeah, the guy hits a 3, relatively meaningless 3.
Right.
Turns and shushes a crowd full of elementary students. AJ Lopez, I don't know.
Look, I know he's played the game, so he doesn't have the ability, but because it is elementary school children, someone should have flipped the lights in the gym on and off to tell them it's time to be correct.
Crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce.
All right. Snack round is over, and so is the lightning round. The piano could only mean one thing.
Yes, sir.
But however, I am switching it up on you because tonight is the College Football National Championship.
I did not know they held these without SEC teams.
This is the first one. Last year.
I was about to say second one, yeah.
But it normally the SEC rules this thing. We get Notre Dame and Ohio State tonight. Ohio State -8 is your number. We're going to talk more about this game, but the truth of the matter is DraftKings has you covered, not only for tonight's game, but for all of the NFL playoff action. Because playoffs? Are we talking about playoffs? You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is the key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Place your first bet. Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code OG24. That's code OG24 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
gets the people going.
All right, the best way to get the people going when Demetri is in for Joe, and even when he just comes and visits us,
Yes.
is to go into the radio binder of nonsense and to come up with the most radio-y bits you can possibly come up with. That's going to be brought to you by the Mosquito Authority.
Oh.
Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. They don't believe in contracts, but they do believe in saving you money. So go and check them out. It's bugsbite.com. All right, so national championship tonight.
Yes.
I only have one thought on this, and I'm glad I saw this on my socials. I think it kind of sums up what most people think about this game, but I could be wrong.
This is perfect. Like, this goes to an argument. Okay, hang on. For people listening, you tell them what this show.
So for people who aren't on the YouTubes, and if you're just listening on either Apple or Spotify, this is a map of America. Who is America cheering for in the national championship? The state of Ohio is red for Ohio State. The state of Indiana is green for Notre Dame. The rest of the country is gray for Meteor. Meteor.
This is a conversation Lauren Brownlow and I have had a lot, because Lauren is of the mind that Marcus Freeman makes Notre Dame likable.
Okay.
And I agree that Marcus Freeman himself is a likable guy. He is easy. His story is easy to root for. But my pushback has always been, if you found out tomorrow that Mr. Rogers was secretly a member of Al-Qaeda, you would not suddenly say, Al-Qaeda seems okay. You would say, oh, I love Mr. Rogers. Real shame about that Al-Qaeda thing. So Marcus Freeman, who I think is incredibly likable, is not redeemed or does not have the power to redeem Notre Dame.
I really don't have a rooting interest tonight.
Yeah, neither do I.
I am looking at this game. I think Notre Dame's defense is good.
Yeah.
I think they were fortunate to get here the way that they have. They outplayed Penn State, obviously, in the second half of the game. Some of that's on James Franklin.
Sure.
Let's be clear.
Sure.
They beat Georgia straight up in a rock fight.
Yep.
But I think Ohio State has the best talent.
I think that because of just how miserable they looked against Michigan, I think we lost sight of, like, this is an astoundingly talented roster.
Yeah, I just don't think Notre Dame has the parts to keep up with their receivers. Now, if Ryan Day wants to go galaxy brain and he continues to dye his beard, my theory is once he stops dyeing the beard, then he'll really focus on what matters to him. I think you'll see their receivers have outstanding games. They win this football game kind of like the Ohio State-Alabama game in the pandemic.
Oh, sure.
That was Saban's best team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Ohio State's not a war machine, but that Ohio State team that lost to that Alabama war machine, they were just limited. There's only so much they could do.
Well, I mean,
and I feel like Notre Dame is limited. There's only so much they can do.
I think
as much as Riley Leonard believes that his Lord and Savior is compelling Notre Dame to win this football game.
Yeah, that's another reason I can't root for Notre Dame. Riley Leonard is from the affluent suburb of where I grew up, and I just don't trust people from Fairhope, Alabama. Yeah. The other thing, too, is that as talented as Ohio State's receivers are, Ohio State also has this two-headed rushing attack that if they get up by 14, they can just sit on this game. I mean, they really can. So I would prefer, since someone has to win, I would prefer Notre Dame just because we have not seen that in 40-something years. But I don't think they have a fighting chance in this game.
No pun intended. I don't think it'll be like the 2012 game against Alabama where they're completely outclassed.
Sure.
Like I said, I feel like it's more of like that game down in Miami between Ohio State and Alabama where the superior team just ends up scoring more points and winning the football game. Again, here's that phone number from our Heister friends, 919-524-3348, or go to HeisterAuto.com if you would like to buy or sell your car. Now,
yes,
radio nonsense time. Let's do it.
Where is this game being played today?
This game is in Atlanta.
In Atlanta. And when you say Atlanta, there are two restaurants you tend to think of.
Okay, the Varsity?
No. I'm sorry. Restaurant chains.
Oh, Waffle House.
Right. And Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Now, because I am not a man of the cloth, we are going to focus on Waffle House.
Okay.
All right. Waffle House, as you know, Joe, has its own lingo for hash browns.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you the Waffle House word, and you tell me what that means is happening to your hash brown.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Smothered.
Cheese.
No, I'm sorry.
Onions.
That is correct. Onions. Covered.
Cheese.
That is cheese. Chunked.
Chunked?
Chunked.
Oh, what else could tomato?
No, I'm sorry. That is ham.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Diced.
Tomato.
That is tomato. This one's a gimme. Peppered.
Pepper.
Yes, that is jalapeno peppers. Capped.
Mushroom.
Mushrooms. Topped.
I want to say chili, but I don't.
You are correct. That is chili. All right. There's a new one, or at least new since your college Waffle House days. Countryed.
Bacon?
Nope. Sausage gravy.
Oh.
Which I got to be honest, that might be part of the Demetri rotation going forward.
Okay.
But there you go. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different things you can do to your hash browns at Waffle House. And Waffle House, by the way, still looking out for the people. A regular order of hash browns less than $2. A triple order of hash browns, $2.65.
Well, that's movie theater popcorn for you, right?
That's
there.
right.
I like that. What is your go-to order?
At Waffle House, I am a big fan of the hash brown bowl myself.
The bowl.
The bowl. Give me a little bit of cheese, give me a little bit of sausage on there, and I'll throw some Tabasco on top of it.
Have you had the chicken breast?
Yes.
It's phenomenal.
Listen, there are so many things that Waffle House does that people sleep on. Steak and eggs. Folks, Waffle House loves to remind you they're the largest server of steaks in the continental United States, and they know their way around this.
I also haven't heard the other one yet. Do you not get a waffle at Waffle House?
No.
Oh, I get pecan waffle.
My wife,
favorite.
My
Well
wife
done.
does too. I don't need cake for breakfast.
Okay.
Unless it is actual cake.
Well, that makes sense. Hey, man. I got it on the scroll here for those on the YouTube so they could see it. OGTriangleMedia.com.
Yes, sir.
I was listening to the mailbag. We legitimately had 11 people buy.
We did.
OG fans as
OG
a Christmas,
fans
as
Christmas
a holiday
presents.
gift.
Yeah, I went digging in the numbers to look this up, and yes, we had 11 gifts given between December 17th and January 17th.
Well, if you want to give the gift of her MLK holiday,
Valentine's
OG
Day
fans.
is coming up. What does she want more?
Valentine's Day, the Super Bowl, President's Day. These are all legitimate reasons.
Agreed.
To get OG fans for the love of your life. Go to OGTriangleMedia.com. Demetri, appreciate you helping us out today.
Can I share with you before we go a political theory? As
Sure.
we have never been in a more divided time in our life. And as we are recording this, obviously there are people on edge, right?
Okay.
We are too divided to try and come together on the big things right away. So we need stepping stones, right? Can I get everybody to agree, to get behind? We don't need any more fucking Batman movies. Can we start there?
I feel like we can get the people together on that.
Yes, very good.
All right. Well, check us out. OGTriangleMedia.com. Of course, catch us on the YouTubes if you're already there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave those comments, do all those good things. The captain of the ship will be back tomorrow. We'll be talking about ACC championship game changes. Wait, is the ACC being progressive?
Oh,
wait a second. Is Jim Phillips taking the advice of the OG? Speaking of Batman, tune in tomorrow.
Ooh.